Today's hearing is for the subcommittee to review the impacts of overcrowding in our national parks on park resources and visitor experiences, and to consider strategic approaches to visitor use management. I'd like to say at the outset that I think neither my co-chair nor myself have a ready-made set of solutions or proposed legislation. This is truly a hearing to listen and learn and discuss options in an open and free way to talk about not only the situation today, but where we will be in 5 or 10 years. So we're talking strategically, not necessarily tactically. As vaccine rates continue to rise across the country, Americans who've been stuck inside for a year look for outdoor recreation. We're having a record-breaking year at many of our national parks. Even as international visitation is down due to ongoing COVID-19 concerns, visitation numbers at our most iconic parks like Glacier, Acadia, and Yosemite are already at all-time highs. It's great to see so many Americans are taking advantage of these parks. That is, after all, why we protect these lands in the first place. However, at the same time, we must recognize that overcrowding in the parks itself can degrade the natural resources and wildlife that these units are designed to protect. We can accidentally love our parks to death. Overcrowding can also significantly harm the visitor experience and strain the resources of gateway communities, souring what should be a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. Watching the sunrise from the top of Cadillac Mountain is a wonderful experience. Staring at the taillights of the car in front of you as you're trying to get up the mountain and find a parking place, not so much. We know there are multiple ways to address these issues, and we must consider the full range. For example, we can encourage visitation to lesser-known parks. Not all park units have seen the same astronomical growth that is impacting our better-known parks. Chairman Daines examined this in a field hearing several years ago. We should explore opportunities to highlight these lesser-known jewels, including review the National Park Service's restrictions on advertising. Timed tickets and reservation systems are also options that are increasingly being considered and put into place, if not for entire parks, at least at some of the most crowded sites within parks. Many national park units have had de facto reservation systems for years, the Statue of Liberty, for example. These systems can help protect public lands and support high-quality visitor experiences, but they also present challenges that we must consider. It's important to ensure that reservation systems do not lock out visitors. America's national parks are for everyone and should remain accessible as possible to all. Staffing is also an issue that should be examined, as staffing at the national parks has not kept pace with the growth in visitors. More visitors have stretched our rangers and staff thin and made park operations more challenging on a day-to-day basis. This chart is a graphic representation of exactly what I just noted. The green mountain is the visitation at Yellowstone. The red dotted line is staff levels. So as you can see, the staff levels are relatively fixed, and the visitation has almost doubled or more than doubled. So this is an indication of the problem of the static staff versus the astronomical growth in visitation. Through the Great American Outdoors Act, this committee has done significant work to ensure that the capital facility maintenance backlog is being addressed. We may now need to turn our attention to the operations side of the ledger. Vehicle limitations are also something that must be considered. Often we talk about too many people, but actually we're talking about too many cars. There are alternatives for us to look at. For example, many years ago, one of my sons and I had the opportunity to visit the Matterhorn in Zermatt, Switzerland, where the gateway community is entirely free of private automobiles. They only have golf carts and horse-drawn carts, and everyone that goes to the town gets there via a train from about a station about 20 miles away where there's a very large parking lot. So there are no automobiles in the town whatsoever, and it works. Additional investments in transit options, both through free visitor shuttles and private partners, could allow us to continue growing the number of people in parks while limiting vehicle traffic. Today's conversation will explore these opportunities and more, but the fact that there are no obvious answers to some of these challenges, there's no one single solution that will fit all the situations in our parks. I know there is a path forward that we can build by collaboration and input from the local level, and it's my hope that our conversation today is a step in that direction. I'd now like to recognize Senator Daines for his opening comments.